Okay. All this, there are 4 different graphs are given. All graphs are they're intended to represent the same motion. One of them does it incorrectly. Pick up the one which is different from other 3. If that's what the question is. So do we understand, can we, in terms of understanding, what does each type of graph indicate? Can we interpret each graph? So this question is more to improve your understanding of graph. So, so all we need to do, we need to identify which 3 of them represent same motion, and the 4th one which doesn't represent the same motion is the odd one out. First one is easy to understand here. How did this is velocity time graph? So at time t0, it has positive velocity and velocity keeps decreasing, comes to a stop and becomes negative. So what kind of motion first one is? This will start with this is positive velocity, negative acceleration and constant acceleration. So uniformly accelerated, negative acceleration. This is the kind of part. So if you have to look at first one is something like this. If this value is u, and slope is whatever slope is given. So this velocity and acceleration is opposite. So in this case, what happens? We know what in this case, it will start from, suppose it start from origin, it will go up to a certain maximum distance and come back. It will achieve a maximum position, not beyond that. Coming to second case now. The second case also what we notice here is velocity when position is 0. Its velocity is positive. And after it again, same position becomes negative also. So at every position, it has positive velocity as well as negative velocity. It means it passes every position twice. And when do we have this kind of motion? It's similar to the previous motion. So what we notice second case, and there's a particular position, it doesn't go beyond that. It means it moves up to a maximum displacement, which is given by this position, and again comes back. The second motion also same as the first motion. When I come to the third one, what is given here is not displacement, it is distance. When you have distance and time, what is slope of, if I draw tangent at any point, what would the slope of tangent indicate? What would slope of tangent to a distance time graph would indicate? Otherwise, what would slope indicate?
Velocity, sir.
It's not displacement, it's distance. That's what I'm asking. Otherwise, I would not have asked.
Oh, okay.
What would it indicate? Tell me again, try again. No, this is not distance. Abhirop, what would it indicate?
Instantaneous speeds.
Speed. So this indicates speed. So this one indicates speed. And so whenever distance time is given, this graph can never turn negative. So this is a speed graph. And if I look at this, if I compare here, if the graph is something like this, so what I notice from this case here, is the slope anywhere becoming 0? Slope is not becoming 0 here. Nowhere the slope is 0. It means speed is never 0. The speed is not equal to 0. Whereas here the speed comes to 0. So does it match? Is the slope anywhere becoming 0? Slope is not becoming 0 here. Okay. So this one doesn't match with the first one. The second thing, what you understand here, if I start then further we want to understand here, at time t is equal to 0, the speed is 0, which it doesn't match with this. So this one doesn't match with the first one quite easily. And when you look at the third one, now if I draw tangent to any point, that will indicate velocity. So what I indicate here, initially the positive velocity. And as the slope is decreasing with this positive velocity, velocity remains positive but decreasing. At this point, at this particular instance, velocity becomes 0. And thereafter, velocity becomes negative, slope becomes negative, which matches with the first one. So this is something, this question is to make you understand or read the graph better. This I have written the points here. Those who are interested, again, you can go back and refresh and so that you understand each point. Okay. Fourth one, slope represents velocity. So I hope this point is clear. As long as the slope is positive, velocity is positive, it becomes 0 and it becomes negative. Exactly same as previous one. This also is past mains question, understanding of velocity time graph. And what is area under velocity time graph? Area under velocity time graph is equal to distance traveled, and slope is equal to velocity. Sorry, what will slope indicate? Slope will indicate acceleration. So this is the figure given, velocity time graph of a car. One is given for the car. So this is for the car. And other one is for the scooter. So there is a question, difference between distance traveled by the car and the scooter in 15 seconds. So in 15 seconds, what is the difference in distance traveled? How would I calculate the distance? Will there be any difference between distance traveled and displacement? Will that distance traveled and displacement be equal or unequal? Bhageshri?
Unequal, sir.
Tell me why. So this is, when we notice something, why I'm asking this question, to understand which point is understood, which is not understood. See, is the direction changing? When is this straight line motion? So whenever I plot like this, it is 1D motion. And nowhere I see it is crossing. When it crosses x-axis, then only direction of motion is changing. In this case, direction of motion is not changing. Hence, the distance traveled and displacements are equal. So when I calculate area under the curve, what would this area indicate here? If I take the area of the triangle, this area of the triangle will indicate, if I take this triangular area, it will indicate this displacement of the car and displacement distance traveled. Both are same. So this area of the triangle is the distance traveled by the car, and area of this area of this rectangle here is the distance traveled by the scooter. So distance and displacement are equal, and which is area under the graph. From t is equal to 0, area under the curve for the car, area of the triangle is 337.5. Scooter, the area, this area is equal to 450. It means the gap is equal to difference, the gap is equal to 112.5, which indicates scooter has traveled larger distance. Scooter, if they started from the same point, scooter will be ahead of the car by distance of 112.5 meters. And further, if you want to understand graph better, just see one more thing here. See what is this point? What is spatial at 10 seconds? Do you observe anything spatial at 10 seconds? Tejas, what is spatial at 10 seconds when the graphs cross?
Both the velocities are same, sir.
Same. And so
Yes, sir.
0 to 10 seconds, scooter is having higher velocity and car is having lower velocity. If they start together, scooter will gain lead on this car. This is instance when velocity becomes equal, and this is the time when the gap is maximum. Afterwards, gap will start shortening. And that's what we should understand here. We should understand the graph well here. Gap is increasing until 10 seconds, and then it starts reducing afterwards. That's another thing you could have understood from the question. So gap is 112 seconds, and after 15 seconds, will the gap start shortening and gap will start increasing after 15 seconds? Tejas?
Yes, sir.
After 15 seconds, see at 15 seconds, if I have to look at this, suppose this was car and this is a scooter. What has happened at 15 seconds? At 15 seconds, car has traveled certain distance and scooter has traveled more distance. How much distance scooter? And the gap is equal to 112.5 meters. That's what I calculate.
Yes, sir.
This is instance, this is where the car is at 15 seconds and this is where the scooter is at 15 seconds. What will happen after 15 seconds? Will this gap start reducing or will it start increasing?
It will start reducing, right? So because the car is at higher velocity.
Right after 10 seconds, it has been reducing.
Yes.
So this is very clear. At this particular time, speed of the car is 45 and speed of the scooter is 30. And of course, it will keep reducing at what rate? Every second, the gap will reduce by 15 meters. 15 meters per second. Yes, sir. So how much time to take? Further time it will take to gap to become 0, 112.5 by 15. That many extra second it will take for gap to become 0. Yes, sir. That's how we should solve this question. I hope all parts are understood. Okay. Jaideep?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely clear?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Clear. Okay, so understanding graph, the only part important in kinematics, or one of the important point is understanding of graph. We'll catch up at time t, so we can easily calculate. So what has to happen? So if it catches up at time t, I could have written this equation also at time t. So between 15 to, okay, easily it can be calculated. No need to calculate for given options here. Actually, there was no need to calculate the second part. Because once we calculate 112.5, there are only two options. And among the two options, we know at which time will the car catch up. It cannot catch up at 15. It has to be more than 15. So this straight away gets answered without any calculation. Plus, these are some easy questions. And I have given some figure also. This question we can also solve using graph. See, a bullet fired into fixed target loses half its velocity after penetrating 3 centimeters. So this is a bullet here. It starts with velocity. Whatever velocity, if it has b here, And from to here, by the time it reaches B, which is 3 centimeter, it loses half the velocity. It means here velocity becomes V by 2. Sorry, U by 2. So if the initial velocity was U, it has become U by 2. So what is saying, at some point it comes to a stop. Here it comes to at rest. What is this further distance it will travel? This is what the question is, and we can solve using equations, and we can apply equation between point A and B. So one way of solving is there are three states of motion relevant here. This instance is relevant here. This instance is relevant here. U by 2, and final velocity 0. And here with velocity and displacement. The velocities are given, displacements are given. So we can use this second equation between A and B, and then we can use between A and C or B and C. So either this equation can be applied twice, we can get an answer. But we can also understand this question using VT graph. Because in this case, all this question, constant acceleration becomes a straight line. VT graph is straight line, and since it is retarding, is slowing down, is coming to stop. So this will be the shape of VT graph here. It starts with initial velocity U. At certain time, it becomes half. This particular point, velocity becomes half. So what is 3 centimeter here? And from here, this further it comes to stop. This area is equal to 3 centimeter. What we need to calculate, we need to calculate this area. This is the further distance it will travel. And we understand, compared to larger triangle area, this smaller triangle area, height is half, this width also half. So this will have area of 1/4. And this area will be 3/4. So which means this area will be thrice this area. So if I understand areas quickly, I could have easily understood this area will be 1/3 of this area. So this distance is 3, this has to be 1 centimeter. We can also solve using graph. Okay. So that was my purpose, was large triangle area will be 4 times the smaller triangle area. So those who understand graph, and I think all of should make an effort to understand graph better. Okay, this kind of questions are also common. Body is moving with uniform acceleration, and same question can be put in 2 forms. So this first part and second part are same. This is also a common question. Many people have struggled with this kind of question. There's a train of length L. This is a train here. It's of length L, and is moving at the uniform acceleration along the straight track. There's a 1D motion, and acceleration is constant. It means I can use any of these 3 equations. What is given here? It crosses electric pole by the side. So there's electric pole here. Velocity of train when engine and last compartment crosses the pole are U and V respectively. So now if this is the direction of motion, at this particular instant, engine is crossing, and this particular time the speed is U. And then what happens in terms of motion of one point? So the whole train, rather than whole train, let's focus on motion of engine. So initially, when engine is by the side of pole, is velocity, if train velocity U, engine velocity also U. And when the whole train crosses means there's a displacement of this engine has a displacement of L. Engine has traveled a distance L, and after having a displacement of L, velocity has become V. That's what is given. So when it says the last vehicle is crossing the pole, it means engine is at a distance of L from here, displacement is L. And what we need to find here, so if I break it down to only 1 point motion, I can ignore rest of the train. What I understand here, if an object was at T here, velocity was U. After having a displacement is equal to L, its velocity becomes V. I can use this equation, V square plus V square plus 2S equation. That's pretty simple. And what we need to find here, we need to find velocity of train at the instance midpoint of train is crossing the pole. So it means we need to find the velocity of engine when its displacement S is equal to L by 2. That's what we need to find. So we can easily substitute here. So when midpoint is crossing, this is the equation. This is the equation form. I have applied this equation corresponds to this figure and this figure. Displacement is L, and you can substitute. Second case, Vm. What does Vm indicate? Velocity. And this particular instance, velocity is Vm when the midpoint of the train is crossing. Velocity of engine is Vm, or train V is Vm. Vm is equal to U square plus 2A L by 2. So between this point and this point, you can easily solve. This is a value. Okay, let's look at this question. All of you just quickly read this question and we can solve easily. Car is moving the speed of 40 meters per track. After a reaction time of delta t, driver applies the brake, producing a retardation of 8 meters per second square. What is the maximum reaction time is needed to avoid collision? So how do we convert this information in form of equation? Let's read that one. What happens that there are two different periods. One is during reaction time, car moves with a constant speed. Okay? Until the brake is applied, it will move traveling with a constant speed. And hence, how much distance it will travel during reaction time is speed into time, that many meters, assuming reaction time is in second. And then to avoid collision, what has to happen? Total displacement until car comes to a stop. The total displacement has to be less than equal to 120. If the displacement is 120, it means it will just touch that point and come to a stop. It will not have a collision. So two times the displacement with two equations we need to write. This is the displacement during reaction time, and this is the displacement during retardation. And we have mentioned earlier also retardation very similar. If this is u velocity, if retardation is a, distance to travel is u squared by 2a. This is the equation. In this equation, rest all is given. We can easily find delta t, which comes to 0.5 seconds. Okay, this kind of question, variation of this question is common, and actually variation of these questions are coming in advanced also. We understand this question here. So these questions are based on uniform acceleration, but there's no one acceleration. There are two different parts. One part has a different acceleration, second part has a different acceleration. So let's see, this is also a common thing. A greatest acceleration or deceleration a train can have is A. It means it can speed up at a particular rate. It will slow down also at the same rate. It may happen in case of metro. Metro also, you know, some of the stations are too very short distance across. What happens? The train accelerates and then suddenly after some time again start decelerating, it comes to a stop. So minimum time in which the train can reach from one station to other separated by a distance d. Okay, so whenever we come across a question minimum time and it has to reach from one station to other station, it means here also it must start with from a state of rest. Initial velocity has to be 0 and final velocity also must come to 0. And if time is minimum, so whenever it is accelerates, it has to have the constant maximum acceleration. And when it decelerates also, the deceleration also should be maximum. That's what has to happen. So so basically we divide the journey in two parts. From A to B, there's an acceleration of A. And from B to C, there's a deceleration, this is some retardation of braking. Okay, there are two parts, different acceleration. From A to B, accelerates. And let's say from here it takes time t1. If it takes time t1 from B to C, again, so even if it accelerates for time t1, by the time it reaches here, it will acquire a velocity v equal to at1. And then what has to happen from B to C? From B to C, again the velocity from V, it has dropped back to 0 in time t2. So this is what happening time t1 and t2. And total displacement is d. And this kind of question, if I represent in form of a graph, I feel understanding the graph makes it a lot easier. So whenever there's a constant acceleration, VT graph is straight line, acceleration positive slope, retardation negative slope. So this, if I draw a curve here, from here up to time t1, starting from a state of rest, initial velocity 0, up to t1, it will have a constant slope equal to a. Hence, at time t1, it has velocity at1. So the blue part indicates what is the blue area indicates here? Area under this curve. The blue curve indicates the distance traveled during acceleration phase. And then from here it starts deaccelerating. And what is the slope equal to? The slope is equal to is retardation or deacceleration. And if it takes time to this time take t2, total value of t is equal to t1 plus t2. Okay. So if I draw this one, it's easy to notice here. If this is at1 and this distance is t2. The slope here, what is the slope here? Slope is this height divided by 2. So this slope here, retardation, if I have to write, retardation will be equal to, slope is delta y by delta x. I know the sign, at1 divided by t2. And this slope is equal to A because retardations are equal. Hence, T1 is equal to T2. If I draw this graph, it is much more clear to me. So it is even if these slopes are equal, these two triangles will be identical, only orientation will change. So in this case, what has to happen? See, all I need to do now, this total area has to be equal to total displacement D. And what is this total area? I hope this point is understood that the time T2 and T1 will be equal. So whatever time it takes to accelerate, same time it has to take to deaccelerate. Okay. And in this case, graphically, in this case, slope is and total area is equal to T. And what is total area? The total area is 1/2 into height AT1. And what is the total time here? Base is equal to 2T1, has to be equal to D. It will give you a time of acceleration. So pretty simple. I think rather than writing equation, you can do that equation also, but I think if you understand slope, it tells you another way to solve question, and this is much faster and better way of understanding motion. Okay, let's look at next one. This question is a similar question, but in a different way. These two values are not equal. Acceleration is A, immediately followed by deceleration of beta, alpha and beta, and finally comes to a stop. Total duration of motion is T. Then what is the time of acceleration? In terms of capital T, in terms of total time of travel, what proportion of time it will accelerate, and then remaining time will decelerate. So here also I can minimum time, maximum minimum. And in this case also, the graph becomes similar. Only thing what will happen, this slope will be equal to alpha in terms of magnitude, which is positive. This slope, the slope is negative, but this magnitude will be beta. So again, if we take the time for acceleration is equal to T1, time for deceleration is T2. This velocity here will be equal to alpha into T1. So what I equate here, this speed divided by time. So beta has to be equal to alpha T1 divided by T2. Okay, or we can say alpha T1 is equal to beta T2. So T1 by T2 is equal to beta by alpha. So time for acceleration and deacceleration is inversely proportional to magnitude of acceleration and deacceleration. So this is one equation, and second equation is T1 plus T2 is equal to capital T. We can easily find an answer. So this easily you can find an answer. Another important thing I think I forgot to mention in the previous part. What will the average speed during acceleration? See, whenever this part also, blue part is accelerating phase. If I have to calculate average velocity between 0 to T1, Vignesh, can you tell me what will the average velocity between acceleration phase?
Only in the blue part, right, sir?
Yes. No, this important
point. Alpha T1 by 2.
Huh? Alpha T1
alpha T1 divided.
No, and not only in this case, whenever acceleration is uniform, average velocity is equal to arithmetical mean of the two velocity. And what is the, in this case, what is the average speed?
It's the same thing, right, sir?
Same thing. Alpha T2 by 2. So if I have to calculate what is the average speed for the entire duration. So we have two different path travels. Both part average speed is equal. If both part average speed is equal, what is the average speed for entire travel? Same. Is this point understood? See, during acceleration, speed changes from 0 to 81. So average speed, average of the two is alpha T1 by 2. During deceleration, also speed changes reverse direction. It changes from alpha T1 to 0. Average is my mistake. This is alpha T1 by 2. But the speed is alpha T1. Since both the average velocities are equal, if I travel from A to B with certain average velocity and B to also with the same average velocity, total journey A to C also average velocity will be same. So what is the average velocity in this case here? Average velocity is equal to alpha T1 by 2. Okay. So this is another point we can keep in mind. Okay. So retardation half the time, total braking time. So other thing what we understand, if I suppose I give a number here, suppose I put acceleration is 2 meters per second square and deceleration is 1 meter per second square. and total time is 6 seconds. In this case, can we easily calculate what will the time for acceleration? Out of the total travel time, acceleration time will be half of deceleration time or braking time. So this acceleration will take place for 2 seconds and braking will take for 4 seconds. And can we calculate the average speed also? Average speed also at 2 seconds, speed will be equal to 4 meters per second. Entire journey, average velocity will be 2 meters per second. These are pretty simple things I'm just quickly running through. So coming to this question here, let's look at this. Two particles A and B start from rest and move for equal time on a straight line. The particle A has an acceleration A for the first half of the time and 2A for the second half. Okay, acceleration is constant but is changing with time. And particle B has an acceleration of 2A for the first half and A for the second half. Which particle covers the longer distance and ratio of distance traveled? This question also you can solve using formula, but if you understand using graph, it becomes a lot easier. Let's see how we do in terms of graph. Since the time is given, velocity and its relation first half of the time and the second half of the time, the graph is of course going to be VT graph. I have taken the total time of travel is T. So up to time T by 2, let's take particle A. So blue color is particle A. It travels with acceleration A. So at time T by 2, it will achieve a velocity AT by 2. And from here, the slope becomes double. So this slope is A and this slope is 2A. So what will this value be? This value will be equal to 380 by 2. You can easily find this one. What happens in case of particle B? Particle B, initially it has twice the acceleration. So from 0 to T by 2, it travels with the acceleration of 2A. And from T by 2 to T, it travels with the acceleration A. So these are the motions I have plotted. From this graph, looking at the graph itself, can you tell me which particle has traveled larger distance? How do you find which particle has traveled larger distance? Karthikeyan?
Yes, sir.
Blue color is A particle and red color is B particle. Which of them have undergone greater displacement between time 0 to T? Can you tell Karthikeyan based on the graph?
Particle B.
Why?
It has more area under the graph.
Perfect. So area under the curve is greater. So if I calculate what is the ratio of distance traveled, first thing we need to understand distance traveled and displacement are one and the same. There's no difference. It's a unidirectional motion. So if I calculate this total area under the red line and I calculate the area under blue line, which is pretty easy to calculate. So you can try solving with both methods and you'll find if you use graph, it becomes a lot easier. And my purpose of today's session, though these questions are pretty simple, is to make you more familiar with the graph. And some of you just, even after the session, those who are not so comfortable, try going through this question using graph. See that all parts of understood acceleration. I have taken up this question, 2 different acceleration. So whenever you have 2 different acceleration, you'll have 2 different lines of different slopes. Okay. So you could have done graphical is easier, ratio under VT curve. That's a displacement. We have to find VT curve and the ratio comes quite easy. Coming to this question here, this question also we can solve in multiple ways. This question is pretty common. And you will see in the movie also, but movie it may happen as police may not catch him, the dacoit, unless the police is a hero. So police party is chasing a dacoit in a jeep. Okay, who's moving at a constant speed? So there's a dacoit here. And dacoit is moving at a constant speed V. Okay, and he's on a motorcycle. Dacoit is a motorcycle, and this police party is changing. Is just started. Is moving in the initial velocity 0. Is moving in the constant acceleration alpha, and initially with the distance x behind. Okay, so question is, what is the condition for police to catch the dacoit? What is the condition for? Sorry, I think put it other way around. Just a second. I think we put other way around. This police is moving the constant velocity v, and dacoit is moment dacoit sees police party coming here. He starts his bike. He starts accelerating alpha, and he assumes that alpha he can maintain constant acceleration. He is super bike. The super bike is kind of like John Abraham and all you have seen in some movies. No? I think that kind of bike. So what is the condition for police to catch? And how should I write that condition? So if I visualize this motion, what has to happen here? For police to catch here. So who has to have greater displacement? Police has to have, if the displacement of police is greater, then only it will catch up with the dacoit. So for displacement of police has to be equal to displacement of dacoit plus x at some value of t. If at some real value of t, if this condition holds good, that's a condition for catching. That's what had to happen. So if I want to look at in terms of figure also, at some real value of time t, when the dacoit has reached here, the police party also is here, which means dacoit has undergone this displacement. And this is the displacement police have undergone. And what is the relationship between the two? This is equal to x plus s. Now, this is a condition we could have written based on simple understanding of linear motion. Now we write this same condition in terms of equation. What is displacement of police in time t? Displacement of police is moving at a constant speed. So displacement in time t will be equal to vt. What is acceleration? What is displacement or dacoit? Displacement of dacoit will be starting from rest, moving the acceleration alpha, 1/2 alpha t squared plus x. So this is the equation. X is a constant here. When we solve this equation for t, t may have no real root. What would no real roots will imply? Now for certain value of c is x is like a constant here. And you have done in case of mathematics also quadratic equation, certain value of c will not have no roots. And certain cases t will have only exactly one root. And some cases t will have two different roots. So what is this to those things? Which condition that will happen? What does it mean? So for him to catch, for him to catch, condition is for police to catch, t should be real. If t is real, means discriminant should be greater than 0. That's a condition. Okay, that's a condition. But let's understand also under when would we get no real roots and when we get exactly one. So let's try and understand. If I understand in terms of VT graph, the red color indicates police motion. The red color is the motion of the police, which is moving at a constant velocity. And this is the motion of the dacoit. And this is a certain value of time when the speed becomes equal. So if police party has to catch, the police party, is it realistic possible for police to catch after that time t0? What has been maximum gap for police to just gap? Can you tell from the base of the graph? What could be the maximum value of distance between them for police to catch? Anyone can try. Beyond time t0, the speed of dacoit becomes larger. So after this point, police cannot catch, gap will start increasing. If police has to catch, it has to catch within this time. And if it has catch within this time, police, if in time t0, police has traveled this distance and dacoit has traveled this distance. If difference in this area is greater than x, police can catch. If not, it cannot catch. That's how we can understand in terms of figure also. Jaydeep, have you understood this figure?
Yes, sir.
You understood why cannot catch after t0?
Yes, sir.
And in graph also, that's why I'm trying to understand. See, what does, when we get two different values, if we get two real roots, what is significance of two real roots? Okay, so initial speed of car is greater, then hence the gap will keep on decreasing. Okay, what does two roots of t imply? Vignesh, you raise your hand. You want to answer? If we get two values of t,
I have a doubt, sir.
Yes, tell me.
So, like, I didn't understand the last statement that you said.
Yes.
If the gap is greater than x, that part I didn't understand.
Okay, let's tell. See, if I have this graph, based on the graph, can you tell me what would be the when would the gap be minimum between the two?
Like at that point where they both cross equal velocity.
See, actually, it will not be minimum here. It need not necessarily be minimum. See, okay, let me explain other way around. What is the other way around? From this equation, suppose I get two different roots. What is value of two different roots indicate? So there are two values of time when they are, see, if I get two roots, what does two roots imply? Tell me. So there are two values of time, T1 and T2, when both are side by side. Does it not mean the same thing? So it means there's one value of T1 here, they are side by side, and again there's another value of T2, I'm assuming T to be greater, again they are side by side. Why is this happening? See, this means at this particular instance, they have come side by side, but at this particular time, the speed of whose greater speed? Police has greater speed at this time. Because it has coming from behind is overtaking. It has overtaken, but after overtaken, since the speed of dacoit keeps increasing, suppose he doesn't nab, they continue the race. What will happen? When at this particular instance, velocity of police is greater than velocity of dacoit. But this remains constant, this is constantly increasing. Then what will happen? Slowly it will catch up. So what is the two roots of T1, T2 indicate? T1, T2 indicates police will catch up with them. And if this motion continues, it will overtake. It will have some positive gap, but again, the dacoit will again come side by side of police and further overtake. Is this understood now?
Yes, sir.
There are two values of T. Okay, and when would it happen if there's only one root? What does one root implies? Can someone tell me, explain, if I get from this equation, this particular value of X, I'll get only one root. Of course, B square is equal to 4AC. What does one root indicate?
One of them will collide at that.
One root indicates what? It will just catch up, will not overtake.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, why would not overtake? When it catches up at the instance when both velocities are equal. Are you understanding? What does one root indicate? When does it indicate? It catches up just at this point. When both velocities are equal, it will just catch up. Both velocities are equal. This is constant. This is still increasing. If it doesn't catch up, it will further go up. And what that distance will be, what is the condition for one root? You can calculate the value of X will match up with this area under the red curve minus the area under the blue curve. That's a part of your understanding. It's not a necessity, but if you understand, that's good. You can just go through. Vignesh, have you understood this point now so far? Something?
Yes, sir.
And you try and understand this graph, why I said so. Why this the maximum value of X will be difference in the curve area. I'll not explain, you can figure it out. If you don't, I will maybe again some point I'll tell you. Let's look at some more applications here. Two trains A and B are traveling on the same track, are approaching. Okay, let me stop for a minute. I know there are other people also. Again, go through the slides or go through the video. Okay, so two trains A and B are moving on the same track. Yes, you may question why are they moving on the same track? It's a theoretical question, hypothetical. They are approaching each other with equal speed of 40 per meter second, and drivers of the train begin to decelerate simultaneously when they are 2 kilometers apart. Okay, so the distance. So I have written this shown entire thing in form of a variables here. Assuming deceleration of A is half of that of B, what should be the minimum value of deceleration of A to avoid collision? So if I have to represent in form of a figure, because if we visualize a question, it becomes a lot easier. So this is train A moving with velocity u1, and it applies a brake. So this is the instance t is equal to 0 when the brakes have been applied. So it will have a retardation of a1. It has a retardation of a2. It has initial velocity of u2. The distance is d. So can I write a condition for barely avoiding the collision? Can I make a statement which meets this condition? What should be my statement to barely avoid collision? Pranav?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what should be my condition to barely avoid collision? Can you think of a statement? What has to happen for it to barely avoid collision? See,
U1 should be less than U2.
No.
Okay.
You tell in form of words. I tell in terms of basic common sense. What are this train will travel a distance? till it comes to a stop. This train also travels some distance till it comes to a stop. How much distance this train will travel? U1 square by 2A1. How much distance this will travel before it comes to a stop? U2 square by 2A2. Are you following, Pranav?
Yes, sir.
So what answer, what I expected, if this train travels a distance S1 till it comes to a stop, this train travels a distance S2 till it comes to a stop, then S1 plus S2 has to be equal to D for A2. Just avoid collision.
Yes, sir.
No, that's a statement. That's how we should think, Pranav. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm asking. Okay. So let me come. So sum of the distance traveled by two trains by the time they come to stop should be equal or less than the separation at the instance brakes are applied. Alad, I'll come to your point. Okay, I just wrote it down. Okay, so how do I write into equation? So equation, it is when you apply brake. See, applying a brake, okay, so this D1 is equal to U1 square by 2A1. This is a condition always whenever U and V are opposite. And other travel distance U2 square by 2A2. So what is my equation now? D1 plus D2 has to be less than equal to D for it to avoid collision. So in this particular case, what I would written, if this is A, in place of A2, I would have substituted A by 2. And I can substitute the values and I can solve. Okay. What is important point to note, perhaps that may answer your doubt a lot. Two trains will not come to stop at the same instance. If the acceleration velocity is the same, acceleration rate, they will not come to stop at the same instance. Hence, relative velocity and relative acceleration will change moment one of them comes to stop. Hence, relative velocity, relative acceleration approach does not give the right answer. So, relative velocity is valid as long as accelerations are unchanged. So, what will happen here if this has acceleration twice as much this will take half the time to come to stop. After it has come to stop, the relative motion changes. This is 3 meters per second. You can easily calculate. Okay, so I'll stop here, and I think remaining thing